The war is still breathing beneath the soil. A cold mist hangs over the torn fields of western Germany, drifting across toppled fences and the skeletal remains of shattered farmhouses. The morning air tastes of wet ash and the metallic sting of spent gunpowder. In the distance, a ruined barn leans against the pale sky, its roof sagging like a chest struggling to breathe. Inside 200 German soldiers, most of them hardly older than children, huddled together in the straw. Rain slips through a split in the roof, tapping against a rusted milk pail with a steady rhythm. Each drop sounds like the ticking of a clock, and because many of them are still only children, they flinch each time the cold water falls. Their uniforms are stiff with mud. Their faces are hollow. Hunger has carved shadows under their eyes. Their hands tremble, not from fear alone, but from the deep, gnawing emptiness inside them. A whisper breaks the silence. "Did you hear? Are they coming?" A resigned voice answers low. "Americans, today or tomorrow." A thin boy named Lucas tightens his coat around himself. He is 15, though anyone looking at him would think he was 13 at most. His ribs press sharply beneath the fabric. He holds a tiny wooden horse, its paint chipped, its tail broken, rescued from the rubble of a home he will never return to. He recalls his mother's final words before he was taken into the Hitler Youth Battalion. "Be brave. Be loyal. Don't bring shame upon us." He wonders whether he already has the barn doors suddenly tremble. A wave of breathless panic ripples through the prisoners. Some freeze. Some hide their faces. Others begin to pray. Footsteps follow, American boots grinding over debris outside. A shadow crosses beneath the doorway. Even the wind seems to stop breathing. Then the doors burst open, flooding the barn with blinding light. The German boys squint like startled animals, bracing for the cruelty they had been promised all their lives. Instead, the Americans stand stunned in the entrance, motionless, uncertain, taken aback by the sight of 200 starving, shaking boys packed into a collapsing barn like forgotten livestock. Sergeant Daniel Carter, 28 years old and streaked with mud, stares as if the air has been punched out of him. "My God," he whispers, "they're just—" The sentence trails away. The barn falls into a breathless, waiting stillness. 2 days earlier, Lucas and the others had been marched across a landscape that no longer resembled a country, but a wound. The Reich had imploded like a dying star, burned fields, splintered forests, houses smashed into dust. Smoke, wet soil, and the rot of dead cattle clung to their clothes like a curse. Even the German officers escorting them no longer pretended that victory was possible. Their footsteps dragged, their commands were empty echoes. Yet propaganda still clung to the boys, sticky, toxic, impossible to peel away overnight. "Resist if captured," a captain had barked, though his voice cracked Americans' torture. "They kill deserters. They will make you slaves." Lucas had absorbed it all quietly, faithfully, fearfully. During the march, the boys whispered among themselves. "They beat prisoners with rifle butts. I heard they cut off ears. My brother said they starve you until you betray your country." Someone mentioned electric chairs. Lucas didn't even know what one looked like, but the thought made his stomach twist. That night, Emil scribbled in his diary, "We passed a village today, or what used to be one. Only a single wall remained like a gravestone. I looked for people. There were none. The silence felt like snow, cold and everywhere. They say the Americans will make us pay for all this. I think they're right. What else is left to believe?" They had slept in the barn without fire, without blankets, without hope. They fully expected the Americans to arrive as monsters, but when Carter steps inside, the first thing he notices is the smell. Not sweat, not decay, something worse. Hunger. True hunger has its own scent, sharp, sour, metallic. It burns the throat. For a moment he thinks of his little sister back home in Kansas, her warm cheeks and small hands, and nausea rises inside him. Private Jenkins mutters, "Jesus Christ, they're just kids." The Germans recoil, bracing for the expected blow, but none comes. Jenkins simply stands there, jaw tight, eyes shining. Carter lifts his hand slowly. In clumsy German he says, "No harm." The children stare back, trembling, distrustful. In the corner, Tobias collapses. Whether from fear or starvation, no one knows. An American medic rushes to him without hesitation. It is their first shock. Kindness. Quiet, unfamiliar, disarming kindness. No shouting, no blows, no rifles shoved into their faces. The Americans bring water, clear, cold, clean water. Lucas holds the metal cup in both hands, trembling so hard he spills it down his coat. He apologizes immediately. Carter gently steadies the cup. Slowly, he murmurs. Lucas feels the world tilt. He had braced himself for brutality. But the soft civility unnerves him far more. Behind the barn, the Americans prepare stew over a field stove. The smell is overwhelming. Thick, hot, fragrant potatoes, their sweetness rising with the steam. Meat, tender and crumbling. Onions, caramelized into a golden haze. Lucas closes his eyes, nearly undone. He hasn't smelled cooked onions since 1943. Inside the barn, whispers swirl. They must eat like this every day. No, impossible, this is holiday food. No, this is normal for them. When the food is served, the boys eat slowly at first, then desperately, then with shame, realizing their manners had fallen apart long before their uniforms did. Otto cries openly as he licks the bowl. "I used to feed my dog better than I've eaten in months." No one argues. The next day, an American soldier hands out thick white bars of soap smelling faintly of lavender. Lucas turns the bar over in his hands as if it might vanish. That night he writes, "I didn't know soap could have a scent. I didn't know my own skin could feel clean. I didn't know an enemy could look at me without hatred. I don't know what to do with this feeling." Later, a small radio plays outside. American swing music drifts through the broken window. Bright, brassy, alive, like laughter echoing through a graveyard. Some boys sway with their eyes closed, others cover their ears, unable to bear the painful contrast. The music becomes a mirror held to their shattered homeland, and the reflection stings. That evening Carter finds Lucas sitting alone behind the barn. Lucas wipes his eyes, pretending it's the wind. Carter sits beside him without a word. After a long silence, Lucas whispers, "Why? Why are you kind to us?" Carter thinks before answering. "Because you're someone's sons," he says softly, "and this war has taken enough from all of us." Lucas turns the little wooden horse in his hands, guilt and gratitude and shame twisting inside him, each emotion hurting in its own way. In the days that follow, an unexpected battle begins, not from cruelty, but from compassion. The greatest wound, it seems, comes from being treated as human. Their old beliefs crumble under simple gestures, shared cigarettes, gentle conversations, medical care. Letters from surviving family trickle in, creased paper, blurred ink. Friedrich receives a letter. His home destroyed, mother missing, father likely dead. He collapses. Carter kneels beside him. Friedrich looks up and whispers, "Why do you treat me better than me own country did?" Carter has no answer. Some write in their diaries, "Every day something inside me cracks. If they were monsters, hating them would be easy. If they hit us, I could bear it. But this is unbearable." How do you fight an enemy who refuses to be your enemy? Who am I becoming? Arguments erupt in the barn. Some insist it's a trick, others claim it's propaganda. But another group, quiet, hesitant, trembling, admits what they see. These men aren't devils. They're not who we were told they were. They might even be good. The old world within them fractures. Through the cracks, truth shines like a harsh, blinding light. On the 7th morning, the announcement arrives. They will be transferred to a proper camp, safe, fed, treated with dignity until repatriation. Lucas's stomach knots. The barn has become a fragile island of humanity in a ruined world. Before they leave, Carter hands Lucas a small bundle wrapped in cloth. Inside is a wooden horse, carved by Carter from the barn's own broken beams. Something inside Lucas breaks wide open. "Thank you," he whispers, voice trembling. Carter nods, his eyes glistening. As the boys march into the mist, Lucas looks back once, at the barn where fear died and something gentler, something terrifyingly gentle, took its place. His final diary entry reads, "The world is not what I was taught. The enemy is not who I was told. And kindness is the most powerful weapon of all. Once you feel it, you can never return to the lies that once made you brave. I don't know what waits for me at home. I don't even know who I am. But I know this. Humanity survived the war, and I found it in the hands of an American soldier." As the line of German boys disappears into the fog, Carter watches them go. He raises a hand. Lucas turns once more and lifts the wooden horse in silent farewell. The wind carries the moment into the distance, but the memory settles into the soil, into the barn's splintered beams, into every heart transformed there. A truth whispered across a ruined continent. Sometimes the greatest victory is mercy, and sometimes the deepest shock is kindness.